You are listening to the Excellent Lady Doc podcast, brought to you by the Excellence in Medicine Ladies Network. Our mission is to empower you on your career journey through mentorship, coaching, and support so that you can thrive, excel in career, live your best life, and create a life of impact and purpose beyond medicine. What are you waiting for? Let's dive in.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Excellent Lady Docs podcast. And today I'll be your host, Sharon Annie. And we have someone very special today in our midst. Someone who is compassionate, excellent. She's a trailblazer. She's a specialist in internal medicine, and she recently just got into a training program for hematology. We will welcome Dr. Aarin, the one and only Dr. Aarin. Welcome. It's nice to have you here.
Yay! Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
So nice to have you here. So, Dr. Aaron, how are you doing today?
Doing good. Then I'm happy to be here. This is what I love to do. So yeah, thank you for
Yeah, we're
having
happy
me.
to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, before we get into the questions and everything, I just want to ask how your day was, how was your morning, and yeah,
Well, my morning was filled with motherhood, as you would expect.
I can imagine.
But I wouldn't have it any other way. So I'm fine. I'm doing good. I'm just juggling everything. I'm living in my purpose. So yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine how stressful it is, but I know that juggling motherhood and everything will be really, really challenging. But that's why we're here today to learn from you. As we know, Lady Docs is a podcast, and not just a podcast, it's a network that involves a lot of women in medicine that share their stories and inspire and just figure out medicine and life and everything in general. So before we even get into motherhood and medicine, I would like to know who was Dr. Aaron before medicine? Like what inspired you?
Oh, what inspired me? Yeah, right. What inspired me? So I grew up in a Nigerian household, Yoruba tribe to be precise, and I'm from
Okay.
Ekiti State. And as you may already be aware, we are very studious people. We love to read a lot.
Yeah.
And I also happen to be a very brilliant, smart child. And in Nigeria, Yoruba tribe to be precise, if you are that brilliant, there are a number of courses you can do.
Mm-hmm. Doctor.
Medicine, medicine is one of them. So I remember my dad used to say, "Oh, medicine is a noble profession," and my mom was like, "Oh, it feels like the peak of what you can do if you are that brilliant as a child."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, number one, that was what we say inspired me studying
Your
medicine.
medicine. Yeah.
That when I used to go to the hospital with my mom, because my mom had peptic ulcer disease at some point, and then we used to go to the hospital to see the doctor. I just used to wonder, what was done and how best I could contribute to improving my mom's health. So I
Yeah.
feel like wanting to reach the peak of what I could do as it was perceived in Nigeria, and also the passion to improve the health of people around me spurred me to pursue a career in medicine.
Wow. Interesting. So would you say it was solely your choice or there was a bit of Nigerian factor? A little bit.
I think there was a bit of Nigerian factor, but I was also passionate because nobody forced me to write jam. I did jam
Okay.
twice. So the first jam I did, I used it to study botany. So I did a year of botany at Aarinola University, yeah, because I didn't get
Really?
a very high enough score to do medicine. So it was a thing of how would you be doing botany? Like, this is not to say botany is not a course.
Yeah.
Obviously, botanists have a role in the society. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, as of then, given societal expectation, there was a lot of, Ari, you should be doing medicine. And
Medicine.
so, aside that, I knew I had the brain bandwidth or
Yeah.
the intellectual bandwidth to do medicine. So I felt, why not if not? So I studied hard. When my mates were preparing for, I remember as 101 exams, I was preparing for my post UTME to enter medicine in OAU. So I studied hard
Yeah.
and then I got into medicine and then, yeah, everybody was
And
excited
now
and then
we're here.
I was living my purpose finally.
You can, if you say that, yeah, I think you really, even though the pathway wasn't really direct, because you said you had to take exams twice, but
Mhm.
you still found yourself in medicine, which is so so amazing. So I know you said obviously being from a Nigerian background and Yoruba in tribe.
Mm.
Would you say there are certain decisions that kind of shaped your medical journeys, like along your way in med school?
In med school, yeah, definitely. So in terms of succeeding in medical school, excelling,
Yeah.
obviously not wanting to disappoint my Yoruba parents spurred me. And
Yeah.
in Nigeria, our parents take a huge burden in sending us to school, paying our school fees, making sure we're comfortable. And so for
Yeah.
me, it was determination to just put smiles on my parents' faces, like that kept me going. So I don't know
Yeah.
if you know, I graduated with 13 distinctions from Obafemi
Yes,
Awolowo
I
University.
the story and I was
Yeah.
like amazing because I didn't study in Nigeria, so I wasn't
Mhm.
sure what distinctions meant.
Right.
So I went to do my research and I spoke to someone in Nigeria and they were like, "Oh my God, how did that person get 13? That's unheard of. Like it's really amazing and wow,
Yeah.
it's really
So
amazing. It's really
thank you.
amazing."
Thank you for that. Even though when I was powering through, doing everything as best as I could, I didn't know I was obviously going to finish with that much distinction, but I realized that consistency was important. And if you
Yeah.
also need to, I had a goal in mind. I didn't know I was
Mm.
going to be the best graduating student in my class, but I just felt the need to be consistent. And for me, it was also a thing of if God has given you the ability to do something and you're not working at the peak of your capacity, then what are you doing? You're just wasting away.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, so I'm like, okay, if I can read this book, if I have the inspiration to strategize enough to get all these distinctions, why not? If not, and so
Yeah.
that was what spurred me. And then obviously, I wanted to put smiles on my parents' face. I just wanted them to be happy, to feel like, oh, and obviously, my mom enjoyed the frenzy that came with
That came
getting
with
those distinctions. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But wait, did you have a social life in med school?
So in Ife, I don't know what you mean by social life, but my friends know me as someone who enjoys going out. I love going out, not necessarily club or partying. I
Yeah.
love going to church. What else did I love to do? I love, just hanging out with my friends, having good conversations. That was social life to me. It
Social
wasn't
life.
any other
Yeah,
thing.
fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I used to volunteer in CMDA as well, Christian Medical and Dental Association, for
Mm.
students. And then we used to travel for conferences, and I was, at some point. So yeah, I had
Okay.
a life. I was not a
Okay.
nerd that did not
You were
interact with
not
them.
just in the library in your books.
I enjoyed my life by my own standards. So yeah,
Yeah, okay, okay. That's good. I just needed to debunk the idea that to be able to succeed, you have to like forget about your social life and just be reading and studying.
yeah.
There's always like a balance between the two.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good
Mm-hmm.
that you highlighted that part. So yeah. So now let's talk about your motherhood journey. I know you gave birth to a really beautiful baby boy last
Yeah.
year, and you've been on maternity leave, right?
Yep. Yep.
So yeah, and you'll soon be going back into the practice again after taking a break. So how has it been? How has motherhood been? Like I know it's not easy, but just give us a little sneak
Snipers.
into
Okay.
yeah.
Oh, motherhood is a blessing, and it's a journey as well. How has it been? I'm just so grateful, to be honest. I'm grateful for the opportunity to birth and nurture a baby boy, a child. I'm
Yeah.
grateful for the joys that come from it. But people don't really tell you the nitty gritty of motherhood before you get it. Even if you hear, even when they say, you wouldn't really know until
Yeah.
you actually
Until
become a
you
mom.
experience it. Yeah.
Yeah. And that journey is also unique to you. I'm actually grateful that I started my motherhood journey when I wanted to.
Okay.
So I'm going to write a blog post about it because there's always this issue about, oh, when is the best time to have a baby? Obviously, if you don't have
Yeah.
any issues or if all things being equal. And for me, I had my baby when I wanted to have my baby, and
Yeah.
going into mother was after having him, I decided to go on maternity leave for a year. So in the UK, you're allowed a year, and I didn't know what that 1 year was going to look like, obviously.
Yeah. Of course.
But taking care of a child is a whole full-time job. Don't let anybody deceive you. It's a
Mm.
job on its own. And it's a job that you can't take with levity. You have to take it seriously as much as your other job. And one thing I also realized for me was what helped me to still keep my head high at this point was obviously personal leadership that developed before motherhood. And
Yeah.
it's important for mothers in medicine to actually talk about their experiences. It's important. You can't just keep it to yourself because
Yeah.
for me, when I realized I was a woman in medicine was when I became pregnant. And I'm like, wow, okay, where do we move on from here?
Oh my gosh.
And I didn't have the
Wow.
easiest of pregnancy journeys. My quality of life was seriously affected. But in it all, I've also realized that I am a doctor. And
Yeah.
being in maternity leave, I've gone through different phases of identity crisis. Like, well, am I just a mom? the first day I wore my scrubs, for a keeping in touch day, and then I showed my son like, "Mom is a doctor." The guy just looked at me like, I know that. And so motherhood will just humble you because
Yeah.
it is bringing yourself down to tiny baby's level, singing rhymes, changing that,
That,
following somebody's routine, nap
yeah.
time, and then you also need to get things done for yourself. So there's a lot of conversations around, motherhood.
I know. I can't relate because obviously I'm not a mother, but I
Yeah.
know you just don't have to perform your motherhood or your motherly duties. You still have to
Mm,
be a wife, you still have to be a
yeah.
friend, you still have to be a colleague, you still have to be a sister. So it's not just because you had a child, you just stop interacting with other people. So I know that moving back into the workspace and having to leave your son behind, and there'll be some kind of mom guilt. Are you prepared for that?
Yes, I would say so. I'm preparing my mind really. I've actually taken him to nursery, so I'm starting to deal with the mom guilt. But I'm not,
Mm,
to be honest, I'm not guilty. I don't feel guilty. Why? Because I'm also coming to that realization where I know that I have to get things done for myself. And
yeah,
like I said, personal leadership and mastering your own productivity based on the season of life you're in. So it is, how am I harnessing the free time that I have,
yeah,
doing the things that I still love, like this podcast,
yeah.
feeling like myself again. So I'm going to prioritize that, obviously, but at the same time, putting systems in place that ensure that my son is well cared for. So I might feel guilty down the line. I'll come back and tell you. I
Okay,
know I'm not going to be immune to the guilt. I don't know yet, but
definitely.
when that
Yeah.
time comes, obviously I'll let you know. But it's also very important to, prepare your mind for the things that could happen down the line.
Yeah, yeah. So, like now, during this break you've had,
Mhm.
what do you think are some of the things that will help you in the workplace? Like from taking your maternity break and now going back into the workspace. Like, what are some things you think will help you now that you're a mother?
I feel like every mom is a project manager, you're a planner. Moms wear so many hats that they
Yeah,
possess so many qualities and skills that can actually be transferable to the workplace. Being a project manager is you sitting and be like, oh, this child is going to nap in the next 1 hour. I should give them milk. There's a bad part. So I feel like when I go back to work, I might take those prioritization and organization skills to the workplace, obviously.
yeah,
And also, I'm sure that I'm able to manage my life and work in
yeah,
such a way, because I would also definitely have to show up at work. And
yeah,
I'm someone who likes to show up, excellently. So I
yeah.
feel like,
We know that.
yeah,
We know.
so I feel like I would take those skills into the workplace. Time management, very important. If you're on call, obviously you need to manage your time well. And then also, obviously, caring and nurturing for your patients. So I haven't been
Yeah,
on the patient's end of things because I had a cesarean section. Even if you didn't have a cesarean section, but just birthing a baby, being a patient, you realize
yeah,
how vulnerable patients can be. How
yeah,
they're on the bed waiting for one doctor and a nurse to come and tell them, oh, this is what's happening, this is where you're going to go. You need pain medications, you're ringing a buzzer. So I feel like, having been on the patient side of things, I have an understanding of what patients go through. And then going
yeah,
back to work, I would be, obviously I'm a kind doctor from feedback that I've gotten. I would, kinder to people and more compassionate in terms of caring for my patients. So yeah. And also being in the community. I've interacted, I've gone to a lot of baby clubs, mommy groups. So I know what happens in the community from a maternity leave. So,
okay. Oh,
mm,
that's amazing. So
yeah.
you can say you're somewhat prepared for the work life. I think
I'm preparing my mind.
you're prepared in your mind. Don't
I've never
worry.
done this before. I'm just preparing my mind.
Yeah, but I believe that you can do it. You're
Mm,
someone that is resilient and you always do things you set your mind to do. So I believe that this too will be something that you can accomplish. But to accomplish these things, do you
yeah.
have like routines in place that would help you balance work, life, family, and everything?
So for now, I would say the routines I have in place are for my family life,
From
like family life routines. And like I said, it's a new terrain for me.
yeah,
Routines, prioritizing, time management is very key for me. And I
Yeah.
was telling a colleague yesterday about, getting the best out of being a mom and being a doctor, getting things done. For me, nap time for me, for my baby is very essential. For example, I'm doing this recording, during my baby's nap time to get
Yeah.
things that I'm passionate about done. So
Done.
that's
Yeah.
one routine. Obviously, then taking care of your baby is a job entirely. So there are routines for that.
Yes.
For yourself, for myself, maybe nighttime routine might just be doing what nurtures my brain. So before I used to be able to read books like hard copy books. I'm like, read. But now I'm leaning more to audiobooks. Even the audiobooks sometimes I forget to start them. Maybe
Yeah.
listening to Jasmaya's messages during the drive or when I'm getting ready. So those are my routines really. If it's more understanding that you show up excellently, you show up as your best in terms of motherhood, and also for yourself, you don't neglect yourself. You should also find ways to show up for yourself. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's very important.
Mm,
Self-care, even as a mom, you have to look good. Like you look so good, your hair is done. So I think it's important. And also, so if there's a lady doc
mm,
like me that's aspiring to become a mother or
mm,
that's about to become a mother, like what
yeah.
can you advise them from your experience? Because obviously I know that motherhood is a personal journey, but
Mm.
advice to help. So maybe can you advise some of us?
So if you can, I would say start your motherhood journey when you think you're ready. So for me in the UK, I've done my MRCP exams, for my portfolio in training. I've gotten some things off. My first year was, full on getting things done
Yeah,
because I knew I wanted to get pregnant the next year. I wanted to start my family because
yeah,
the journey of being a woman in medicine is very unique. Not everybody wants to have babies. It's very important to put that out there. I know I'm African, but not everybody wants to have babies. So it's important to know because you meet colleagues that don't want to have babies and it's fine. But if you
yeah.
want to have babies, understand that it's going to disrupt your equilibrium
Everything.
and accept that there will be, it might slow down your career. For example,
Yeah,
taking 1 year of maternity leave, I've enjoyed it. I'm so grateful to have that time for my baby. And I
yeah,
don't really care what goes on with anybody at work if they are going ahead. No, it's my
yeah.
journey and
It's
I'm
your
going to own it.
journey.
Do you
Exactly.
understand? So you own your
Yeah,
journey, you enjoy every season as it comes. If you can plan, plan, and obviously get all the support that you need. And obviously we
yeah,
are here. Excellent Lady Docs is here. You have moms like
yeah.
me.
We have a
Yeah.
community of
You have a community.
sisters.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
really
I think for
important.
now, yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, I think it's really important to highlight the fact that everyone is on their journey. So
Mm-hmm.
the fact that you're about to be a mother or you're a mother and you have to take a break, don't be too hard on yourself and think, oh, I'm behind because I have to stay away from work or my career is on hold. So I think it's really important to remember that it's a personal journey. So focus on yourself. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so
No
much for
worries.
that. And also, I know you've been part of the network since the beginning of EIM and
Mm.
everything. So I would like you to tell us how mentorship has played a role in your journey so far. I know you're a
Mentor.
mentor too yourself.
Mentorship. So the role of mentorship in medicine can never be overemphasized. You can never overflog that subject. I believe that medicine itself is born out of is a career born out of mentoring, holding the hands of generations over generations, teaching people. How did they say that thing? See one, do one, teach one, right? So medicine is rooted in mentorship. So
Yeah.
for me, I'm always someone who has sought mentorship from time immemorial from when I was in medical school. Say, for example, I
Mm-hmm.
was moving to the next class, I will go and meet the person. I will not just meet anybody, I'll go and meet the best student in that class. And then I will request a meeting, even if I don't know you, and say, so, can I meet with you? This pathology, how did you get it done? What mistakes did you make? Those were my secrets in medical school. It wasn't just about
Wow.
reading, everybody can read. But if you
Yeah.
want to avoid certain mistakes, you need to go and learn from people ahead of you and say, please, where are the
Yeah.
mistakes? Avoid them. Which books did you use that made you pass? Give them to me. And then you put everything together and then your brain is charging. So for
Yeah.
me, so it started from medical school way and I had like mentors that followed me through. Some of them I
Yeah.
still talk to now. Like They were my senior colleagues and they're still my friends.
Yeah.
So mentorship cannot be overemphasized. But as a female doctor finishing medical school, I didn't have access to one-on-one mentorship that we have in EIM immediately. In fact, it
Okay.
was 2 years after medical school that I had access to Dr. Jimmy. And it's very important that it's what we have in EIM is gold, and I'm not going to like just throw it away and dismiss it.
Yeah.
It's very special
Yeah.
that you have a group of ambitious, trailblazing female doctors in
Yeah.
one place, journeying through life. I wish I
Together.
had it.
Yeah.
It's amazing,
It really
really
is.
amazing. So for me, just meeting Dr. Jimmy, Dr. Jimmy does tailored mentorship where she understands where you're coming from, your journey, gives you insight. She understands your personality. There are days that I'm like worried about, "Oh, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to go about?" And then she calls me, she's like, "Aaron, you've been on my mind. This is what I think." And then she
Yeah.
starts talking about it. You're like, okay, that makes sense. That sounds like me. That sounds like what I can do. But if
Yeah.
you don't have someone like that or that relationship, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how you would go about it because I don't have that experience. But I'm only going to talk from my own experience. So mentorship is very important, very important. And as female doctors, there are things we go through. Motherhood is one of them. I don't think a
Yeah.
man can mentor you on motherhood.
How to be a mother. Oh, how to balance motherhood and mentoring.
Eh, so you can only learn that from people who are like you going through it.
Yes.
There's so many things depending on which country you're practicing, gender pay differences, how to
Yeah.
negotiate,
Yeah.
showing up at work in a male dominated environment, managing your emotions, just showing up as your authentic self. There's so
Yeah.
many aspects of being a woman in medicine that you need mentorship for. And that's where for me I am came into my life and just change everything. I had interests, like I'm someone who I've always had this mentoring ability from a young age where people will bring their
Mm.
children to my father's house. Aaron, we want Aaron to mentor.
Uh,
Yeah, so for me, EIM has given me that opportunity to be like, wait, though, this is a training ground. I remember Dr. Jim
yeah.
was saying, you have what you need. Like, don't go and start something. Like, I don't know if you get what I mean. Like, because for me, it was more, I'm getting trained and I'm also harnessing my
Yeah.
abilities
Your
as a
ability.
person in EIM. So I would come up with
Yeah.
ideas and be like, Dr. Jim, I think we should talk about this on the net. And she's like, go ahead. And then we're creating Zoom link and everybody comes and like, oh, Aaron, thank you. So my point is,
Wow.
mentorship also helped me harness my gifts as a person,
Yeah.
and I would not trade it for anything like in the world. I wouldn't. Even being a mom, like Dr. Jimmy has called me one day, like when I was out of my fourth trimester. She was like, When are you bouncing back? Like, are you coming back to what you stood?" Because you can forget. It tells you that, see, she's gone through it and she understands that if you don't take care, you will just drift away and you will kill you kill those gifts in you. And she understands that
Yeah.
you're going through a phase now. I think it's time for you to, start put systems in place to start getting things that you're passionate about done as well. So that when you
Yeah.
come out of this phase, you will not look back and be like, okay, I abandoned myself, or
Yeah.
I had the grace to do this thing, but I didn't do.
I
So
didn't.
mentorship has, helped me in a lot of ways as a woman in medicine. I'll stop there.
Wow. You cannot even overemphasize the importance of mentorship because, like you said, you need someone to be with you on your journey because sometimes you may doubt yourself. Sometimes you
Mm.
may feel like you can't do certain things. But when you have someone that is constantly cheering you on, it's really
Mm-hmm.
important and it's a game changer. And Dr. Jimmy has a way of motivating you, even when you feel like I don't think I can do this thing. No. This that she will come with it will make you want to like get up and start doing things. So I think it's really, really amazing that you also were able to harness the skills you have for mentorship and you're inspiring other people like me and so many other beautiful doctors. So it's important to also be open to mentorship and like learning from others. So it's really interesting. It's really interesting. So before we talk more about other things, I want to ask you how you define success. Like what's success, Dr. Aaron?
So success to me, well, success is what makes me content. It's
Okay.
contentment to me, like putting all my resources together, the grades that I have, the time, everything. What have I done with it?
Yeah.
If I think I'm content with with my outcome, then I'm
You're
successful.
successful.
I think that's
Yeah.
my own definition of success. It's not by anybody's standard. It's by my own
Very
standard, obviously,
yeah.
and the standard of my sounding boards, people like Dr. Jimmy, my parents, my family telling me, okay, you do this. And I'm like, okay, how do I get this thing done? Do I have the resources? Do I have the capability? That's how I define success, contentment,
Okay.
by maximizing my God given potentials. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I think that's actually a good way to see success.
Mm.
And would you say you've had the same mentality of success, like maybe I can say from the beginning of your medical school till now, do you still define success the same way?
Yeah,
Or
absolutely.
it has never
So
changed?
it has never changed. So for me, when I was in school, obviously, you had competitors, like people who wanted
Mm,
the same thing that I wanted.
yeah.
And I was never really faced by anybody because I was more focused on my journey. Because the way I used to think about it then was, okay, we have one exam. Oh, you want to be the best student in the class? There's one exam to do,
Mm,
right? And I'm like, wait, I don't care about how somebody else is reading for their own. Like, how am I maximizing my own preparation time? Do you get like laser
yeah.
focused on, okay, we have this. What are the questions that are within my control? What are the ones that are not within my control? I will take both of them to God, anyways. But you see the one that is within my control, I
You
don't
will
care
do
about what
it.
anybody else is doing. I max what my brain can do about it out
Yeah.
so that when I get into the exam hall and I start writing and I'm not looking at you, you know that I'm not all about you.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Exactly.
is what can I do with what I have, not looking at anybody, getting the maximum result. That's what it is for
Yeah.
me. So
Yeah.
it has always been defined by, by just focusing on my focus. Do you
Yeah.
understand?
Focusing on your focus is the right way to put it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah,
the right
because
way
if
to put
you
it.
get distracted, there's so many things that you can do that are unique to you. But then you get distracted, you're focusing on what someone else is doing. Or I don't know, success can be compared to, even parents do that where they compare their children to other
So
people.
other
My own
people.
parents did not do that. Like they knew I
Yeah.
was unique in my own way. They never say, oh, see this person, no, no, no. So
Yeah.
success to me is focusing on my focus, maximizing the potentials that I have and getting the results from focusing on my focus.
Period. Because that's just it. That's just it. That's
Yeah.
just it. I think if you're easily swayed by what other people see their success as,
Yeah.
you keep doubting yourself, and doubt will make you stagnant. So there's no way to succeed if you're looking at other people. So yeah, I think focus on your focus, be you, be original to yourself and
Hmm.
your strengths, and yeah, you'll succeed at
Yeah.
whatever you decide to do. So yeah.
Yeah.
So finally, we are coming to the end of the question. So
Mm.
we've spoken about medicine, about motherhood, but we haven't spoken about your training that you're about to start. So
Right.
how is that coming on? Are you
Incoming
excited?
hematology registrar.
Yes.
So yeah, definitely I'm excited. I think I've talked about choosing a specialty. I probably wrote a blog post. I'm going to write more about how I chose hematology. But yeah,
Mm,
I'm excited about doing hematology. I think hematology is a futuristic specialty. I think there's a
mm,
lot to do, even in underserved areas like, in Nigeria, where I come from, but
yeah.
even anywhere around the world, there's so many things to do to improve hematology care. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it also appeals to my academic personality.
You
I'm
like
looking forward to
reading?
doing, yeah, yeah, I'm looking forward to doing academic work and also the patient. I'm looking forward to caring for the patients. So yeah, I'm just looking forward to my life as a hematologist. We'll see how that
Okay.
looks like.
Yeah. So I'm wishing you all the best in this training. How long is the training gonna be?
So 5 years in the UK. 5 years.
So 5 years of studying and training.
Yeah.
And I know it's gonna be an amazing 5 years, and just as you continue to progress in your medical career, I know that we'll hear your name in so many other success stories by
Amen.
the grace of God. And I know that you're a bookworm, you like reading, you like research and all of that. What are your other passions aside medicine? I know there's more to you than medicine.
So other passion is medicine. I'm a motivator. So that's why my what I do in EIM is very important to me. So I like to inspire people, mentor people. I write blog posts. Recently I tried content creation, but I ran away from it.
Why? It's
But I
not
feel like I'm
easy.
going to go back to it. But it's a lot of work. Content creator, they deserve the accolade.
Honestly, editing, recording is a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. So, but I'm restarting my blog post writing, so just watch out for some of my writings.
Okay.
Aside that, I love to cook. Most recently for my baby boy, different recipes, whipped out of chat. But yeah, I love to like cook, bake, and what else do I like to do? Obviously, mentor, and I love to spend time with loved ones. I really love doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. It's good to have other passions aside
Mhm.
medicine. So there'll be balance and everything. So it's really nice talking to you. I know we can continue talking on and on because you have a lot of things to share. I work in, I don't know how to put it. You're just an embodiment of so many good things that would be really beneficial to women in medicine, not just in medicine, but women in general that are aspiring to succeed in whatever career path they are in. So it's really amazing to talk to you, and I hope the listeners were able to learn one or two things from our discussion. So thank you so much for sharing your experience with us, and hopefully we get to interview you another time. But I forgot to add, she's the doctor of the month for the network, so we should
Thank you,
give her
Aarinola.
her accolades. Yeah, so she's the doctor of the month, and I know that as she starts her training, many, many more things would be unfolding, and also on her blog post. So where can we find you? And yeah, you can share your
Yeah.
social.
Yeah, so my blog post, the name is Your Deliberate Life with Aarin, and the link to the blog is www.aarinolaolaiya.com.
Okay.
Socials, Instagram at Dr. Aarin Olaiya, and obviously you can find me on LinkedIn by my name.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's been an amazing, amazing time with you. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I hope you move into your training successfully and everything goes well. And yeah, have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. See you
Thank
later.
you. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
And that's it for today on the Excellent Lady Dog podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. We hope you loved it as much as we did. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to hit that subscribe button on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and hey, make sure you follow us for more inspiring stories, real talks, and a lot of excellence coming your way. Until next time, stay amazing, continue to show up as a spec. Bye bye.